Welcome back to the Breakside podcast, hosted by me, Noam. Today, I have a very special guest, special friend of the program, future recurring guest on the pod,
Colton Green, glad to be on the pod and glad to be a friend of the pod.
the biggest dog, biggest friend the pod's ever had. What else can you even say? Today, we are here with some hot takes, hopefully hot takes, about everyone's favorite topic, video review in Ultimate. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Ultimate, which is probably none of you, considering the reach of this podcast and this platform, you may be asking, why is there video review in Ultimate? And honestly, I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that there are two notable instances of this occurring. The first being World Games 2022. I don't remember what game it was, but I'm pretty sure it was the US and Colombia. I don't remember what round. And I believe Jack Williams gets pushed out of bounds by a Colombian player while trying to catch disc inbounds, and Khalif El Salam is videoing the game from the sideline and then shows the Colombian player the the view of him pushing Jack Williams out of bounds and then gets the call, the contest retracted, and it's like a US score. And then last year at Club Nationals, Fury and Molly Brown, I want to say,
Yeah.
Manuela Cardenas toes the line in the end zone. The observer makes an active out call, which Manu vehemently disagrees with. And there's some small discussion before she goes off to the end zone cam with the blessing of her defender, to be clear, and comes back having seen the footage and is like, yeah, I'm in. And then everyone's like, yeah, she's in. Now, I know I have strong thoughts about this. I know you have strong thoughts about this, but what was your reaction when you were seeing these things for the first time?
My like initial gut reaction, I think it's just a little bit crazy that that video replay is starting to work its way to Ultimate. I think the part that really irks me is like it's not available in every game, and there's not really a regulation of whose film are we looking at? Because I think at the end of the day, is everyone about to start bringing in 10 people to film a game? Like everyone has iPhones, everyone has cameras. Should we all just start filming on the sideline as players during the game in case it can help our team? I think, it's good to get calls right. I'm never against getting calls right, but I think
You're on the
there's
record
just,
as saying it's important to get calls right, I feel like.
yeah, it's very important, but I think there's got to be more talks, and especially at nationals and worlds, like these are showcase games for our sport. So I think if we want to do that, I think we got to get like certified people to show replays. Because if not, like, especially if I'm in a live stream game, it's going to be like in the NBA and the WNBA, each team has someone whose job is to watch the film to know to challenge the play. Someone's going to just be watching the stream on their phone, and anytime there's a call, look at the sideline to see if she got a video.
I think there's like two aspects of it, right? There's like sort of the nitty gritty, like what is actually allowed in the rules, which we can get into. But also, there's the optics of it, which is that like this never happens anywhere except for like in the biggest moment. When it does happen, everyone's just wandering around looking confused, being like, what the hell is happening? And then there's some discussion that happens that nobody's privy to except the players, which is whatever, fine, it's ultimate. But like, it's, there's at least several thousand people watching generally when these things are happening. And it's just like there's no organization. It's like, and I don't want to start your time on the pod with our views on there should be refs in Ultimate because I feel like we're giving away all of our content for free if we do that right now. But like, what, like, there's like, what is happening when we're doing this? Like, what on earth is happening? And like, why is it just, it's so loosey-goosey, it's so like whatever, it is so unserious on the like biggest moments. And it's like great that in the, the club example, right? Manu is so respected as a player that like, people trust sort of her word when she goes and sees the footage, right? But like, is that happening with more than like 2 to 5 total players across all 3 divisions? Hell no, it isn't. Like, and if you're introducing, like with Ultimate, it's fine that there's some loosey-goosey, like, we just sort of figure things out, whatever things in the sport, right? But if you're introducing like hard evidence, you need to have hard evidence structures in place, not, oh, it's still what I feel like, but also we can video review things when we feel like it.
And like, especially, I don't blame people for wanting video. If you adamantly believe the call is wrong, you should want video. You should want something. But I think especially if we're talking semis at nationals, like let's do a pilot program. Let's get some cameras down the line. Let's get some USAU observers to film and be able to make secondary opinions. And let's test pilot that. But I really think there needs to be a little more thought because there's like not enough rules. Like how long can it take or what can actually be used? And I think at the margins that like, this is frisbee at the end of the day, but if we're doing these big live streams with cameras, why can we not get like observers to use these cameras, right? Why don't we show the evidence to the observers, have them look at it, right? I think with active calls, that's what makes it tough in this sport, is because if you get called out of bounds, you should just drop the disc. But do we need to make an amendment to that of there's an observer call where they have to check video evidence to know and we stop the game and they call it then? I think that what is what we should head towards so that it's more fair and more even. I think there's just in this age of video review, if I think you turned it over, I would want to go fast on the turn and you would say, let's check the video. Because between a foul call and a down call, right, that would stop play. But an out of bounds on the sideline, that's not stopping play. So I think we got to talk more with USAU, talk with the rules, talk with the observers, and hear what players want out of it because that's going to be a big problem if we keep it up.
Yeah, I think it's less that there have been problems so far and more that like the structure of the sport and the rules right now are set up so that there's 100% going to be a big problem with it, like very
Mm-hmm.
soon. Like there just is. Like I know frisbee players. I know how this stuff goes. I mean, there was Bobblegate from like
Gate,
six
that's what I was
years
about to
ago.
mention. That was this whole thing.
Yeah, there was Bobblegate, and there was like live video evidence of a call getting missed. And I think that was before there was any kind of even thought into, hey, let's review this live or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? But imagine we're in semis. There's another huge thing. Someone makes some big stink about going to see the camera, and they're denied or whatever, or it doesn't happen or whatever, right? And then we just keep going, and then nobody's going to be happy.
And if someone's like, hey, I don't want to go to the camera, are they now villainized to be like, oh, you don't want the whole perspective? You don't, in spirit of the game. And I mean, if you're asking teammates in your perspective, I think that's not a crazy thing to do to say, hey, I don't want to look at this camera. So I think that's where we just need more regulation of if an observer thinks it's too close to call, the observer can call the camera over. Because if
Yeah.
not, as we've said, people are going to start doing that Patrick Beverly thing. Whenever LeBron got fouled, he ran and got the camera to show the ref. We're going to get some crazy moment, some clip like that. And then,
When is
I don't know what's going to happen.
USAU gonna fine people for bad behavior at nationals?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Changing the
start.
topic. When is that gonna happen? I want to.
Start
But
go
like,
up to
how are the how are the observers, right? Like the way that we have refereeing, observing set up, right? Like how are they even supposed to integrate that into like what they do? And if you're a purist out there who's like, nah, it's the player's responsibility, how are the players supposed to integrate that? Because like let's look at the rules, right? I pulled this up and I cited this in one of the Breakside posts on Substack, which you can subscribe to if you like this kind of content. Right after Nationals last year, right? And it's in the USAU rules too still. It's 3.A.2 under definitions, and it says players may review officially designated video footage to assist in resolving a call where such footage is available. However, play may not be delayed to review footage. That's just the bare bones of it. And then there's like a bracket parentheses thing that says, for example, live instant replay in a stadium setting may be used by players to resolve a contested foul call. Players may not, however, request that a particular play be replayed on the screen. If after reviewing the video, players still cannot agree, they should not delay the game to rewatch the play multiple times. Instead, the play should be treated as a regular contested foul. So let's take this at face value, right?
Yeah.
Um, what is officially designated video footage? Is it the live stream? Is it people who have like press passes to be on the sideline? Is it me, a teammate, videoing the play on the sideline? Pretty sure it's not that last one, but it could be the other ones. And secondly, may not be delayed to review video footage. First of all, how do you review the video footage without delaying play, right? You're
Yeah.
inherently delaying play. And secondly, why is that so vague as to that it could mean anything, right? Like, what is it now? What is a delay in this setting? Like, the rule actually means nothing if you think about it.
And especially also, I mean, with USAU rules, you can captain clause anything. So at the end of the day, nothing means nothing. But as you said, like a delay, technically a sideline call is an active call. If you get called out, you can't really contest the observer. Whatever the observer says goes. Meaning any video with that is delaying the game. Because say on an up down call, people are discussing and you're able to get the camera, but on an active call, that's the active call. The game's supposed to keep going, so anything would be a delay. So that's where I think like we gotta relook at these rules. Because this happened in one of the biggest moments in our sport, USAU club semis. I think it's once again, this is a very niche thing. How often is this happening? But there's going to be a moment where it happens and it's going to be a game changing thing. And I think as a big sport, as we're trying to get in a major governing body, they need to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I think my like hottest take on this would be whenever the next cycle of rules is, I- like I I kind of want to say just legislate it out. Like we don't need it, right? Like we don't need video review because the sport is not at a point where any sort of realistic implementation of that is going to be like evenly spread out among even just nationals, right? Like, because there's 40 games happening at once or whatever, and it's like a regular tournament. There's not like a video review available in all these games. You're like talking about like through college and club and like maybe the TCT semis and finals, you're talking about a few dozen games out of thousands played. And right, like to do it actually right, you're gonna need more people and more infrastructure, right? Because at least with how the rules are written, because it's, oh, you can request to get played up on the big board. Like, there's barely even a big board anywhere. There's like some
Uh,
screen on the sideline. So like like none of this actually says you can do what we saw in either of these examples, which is watch on somebody's phone or camera because it's a tiny screen. And there's, at least on a phone especially, right? Like, like what FPS are you capturing in? Like, are you gonna miss the vital moment of possession or not? Like, what's happening? Like, we don't want to be the NFL being like, what's a catch? What's not a catch? Like, I need to be able to see this frame perfectly, right? Like, So until like things are improved, I'd rather it not be happening because
Yeah.
like the uneven implementation of things is gonna cause problems.
I literally, as you said, I think it's at a point where I don't think we need it until we're much, much more big time. Because if it's just not right and not fair, I think. And it just is not in line with, any of the rules that we have. Because literally, as we said, we saw that, the exact situations we named did not fit those rules. And once again, I'm not blaming the players. If I know that I'm in and there's anything I can do, I don't fault people for trying. But I think this where we're going is just gonna be after every call, let's check the video. And that's just not gonna get anywhere with the game.
Because it's human nature. And you and I are both not people who believe that because of spirit of the game or because of ultimate or whatever, like ultimate players are immune to any of the things that any athlete in the world is not immune to. Because people want to win. And at nationals, at the world games, people want to win, right? Like nobody ever thinks about video review at your pickup game like I was gonna say league, but there are definitely people who would really go for video review at
I
league. And honestly, God bless them. Um, but like this isn't like this is the area of the sport that is being like focused into a fine point for like we're honing the competitive instincts and edge and like focusing all the competitive energy into this. And then we're like, "Oh, we're surprised players are trying to win and like doing like, you know, and yeah, I don't know. Like, is this an overreaction with to such documented incidents? Maybe. Is that going to drive the views to this good podcast? Absolutely.
think
But
so.
also, like, yeah, it just like is this isn't something that's going to like go away, I feel like. I think this is something I definitely feel is like this isn't going to go away if we keep seeing it happen in these big moments.
I think more people are filming Ultimate now. You know, for a while it was just NK Walovich. Now I'm seeing shout out Garrett. Garrett's putting out good stuff. A lot of people are filming. I think this is just going to happen more and more. So I think this is, as you said, it's not going to go away.
And like to your point, like these like teams that are like traveling with, people have their significant others, like family members coming to visit. There are people who like help the team out with logistics, like whatever, whatever. There are people on the sideline not doing things related to the game. And, yeah, people are gonna put them to work on filming. There are people like on Periscope or whatever on their phones, like sending the sideline live stream out there. And yeah, like so many games are being filmed now. I mean, I had this discussion with somebody else recently. I can't remember who it was, so I'm sorry if you're watching or listening to this and I'm talking about you, and I don't remember that I'm talking about you. But we were talking about how like so many more games are filmed now than they were even like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Like in 2015, you would get actually, I think it might have been Hugo who I was talking to previously on the podcast. So shout out Hugo. But um like think of how many games you could watch in a weekend on 2016. And then think of how many games from like these not random club tournaments, but like was PEC East or West getting like 3 games around streamed in
Yeah.
2015? Absolutely not, right? Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's got the stream going. Like so much of this footage is out there for people to be using. And people haven't totally done it yet, but like we are in the biggest moments. And
Yeah.
that's how it gets habit forming.
Well, and back when I was learning the game back 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Multi-world stuff was tape delay. Most of these games, you'll be waiting a couple days, weeks to see the game. Now this is all live streamed. This is all right at your fingertips. When Ulti-World was filming your games before, it'd be like, oh, this is cool, but it's not live stream. Now it's fully live. You can watch it on the sideline. You can pull it up on an iPad. Your teammate makes a call. You can look at it then, almost live time. It's a whole new game, as you were saying.
And I think like the sport is in such a place that like any time someone makes some sort of like discovery, right? We're still in a point where like there are unexplored portions of the sport that can give you a big competitive advantage, right? And so if a team was like, we're going to be the replay review team, right? And like they start doing this, like no one else is doing it. So in that sense, like they have some sort of competitive advantage, presumably, right? That they're gaining some sort of advantage and it's not like a net even situation, which it might be, right? Because maybe if we use video for everything, right? It'll all even out, right? But then if we do that, it's going to make the game unwatchable and unbearable, right? Like imagine you're playing the team that's like, yeah, we're going to be the replay review team. And every call, they're like, oh, let's check first, right?
Yeah,
Let's check
sideline,
first.
sideline.
Yeah, exactly. I'm no purist when it comes to this sport, I feel like, although maybe I am because I've been an occasional pro ultimate hater. But like, that's awful. Like, that is actually against spirit of the game. If you're like, nah, like, screw this player discussion shit. Like, I'm going to the sideline.
Yeah, it could feasibly happen. I could see someone getting their camera going and having the clips. Anytime someone's close to the sideline, ask the sideline what they saw.
And it says, like,
And
players may go. It's like you said, right? Like, what if someone doesn't want to go to the footage? Like, are they the asshole? Like,
and like once again, especially if it's like photography, you could have a frame where they have the disc, but the problem could be they don't have it when they hit the ground. And that's kind of the thing. You can't really get the full picture exactly, and depending on the angle of the camera, you might not be able to see everything. So I think it's just such something that could easily like affect these games when we have observers or we've had it for years. Contest to send it back.
it's also like the sports you see the most replay review in. And this is like cycling way back to one of your earlier points about like I think similar to what we were just talking about, but about like pace of play, about structure, right? Like the sports we see the most review in, right? Football, basketball, maybe you can say baseball too. I'm not like a super baseball watcher, but I know we got more review stuff and there's like they want to do ABS, all that stuff. Right? Like all of these sports have more dead time than Ultimate does, right?
Yep.
Like, obviously, Ultimate has points and dead time between points, but like, it's much more similar to soccer in terms of pace of play and flow of the game when the game is actually happening, right? And there's the one natural break would be between points. And even then, right, it's like 70 seconds or whatever between points. Like that's all you're supposed to have, right? Like the game is just supposed to keep chugging along, right? And it's not like football. Like you don't get 6 timeouts a game for each team, right? Like you don't get built-in stoppage. There's no clock. I mean, there's a cap, whatever, but there's no clock for you to like manage in the same way. And these like built-in stoppages for you to like look at stuff when nothing was really going to be happening anyway, right? Like this is what we were saying earlier, right? Any review is a delay.
Yeah.
Any review is a delay, and it takes you out of the game. And like unless and like it's never resolved that quickly, right? I get the Mani one was kind of resolved quickly, but she still like had to run all the way over, come back, right? Like, and that's we're just gonna end up in the same place we always do, right? But how do you solve that? You have refs who make the call actively, and you have someone in charge of that. But
Yep.
again, separate discussion. But
Separate
we're
discussion.
teasing out future episodes.
Can't give out the whole thing.
Oh my God. Okay. Over under. 1.5 video review incidents at nationals, club nationals this year.
Hitting the over.
Hitting the over.
Pounding the over.
Pounding the over. Now, do you think they're all going to be in semis or finals? Or
No,
there's going to be.
I think it's going to start to be other places. I think it's going to be pool play games. I think there's going to be some in non-streamed games. We might not even know till weeks afterwards. Someone's going to
Mm,
message the pod, say, "Hey, and to get to the elite tier in this fifth place game, this happened," and it hits the pod. So if y'all want to message the pod if that happens in your games, please let us know.
exactly. Or the flights are not booked yet, but all plans are that the Breakside will be back in person at nationals this year. So
Wow.
if you have a replay incident that goes down at club nationals, find me. Find me. We will do a emergency pod on the sideline of your game. Tell me how you were wronged, or tell me just what happened if you weren't wronged. And we will broadcast your story to the masses.
The math.
The masses. The almost 500 subscribers to the Breakside. Speaking of, we are a few subscribers away. So if you like this
Everyone, please
content,
sub. Please sub.
subscribe to the Breakside, hit us over 500. All right, but Colt, you got anything else about replay review? Are you feeling like
I
we hit the
think
important
final
points?
thoughts is, slippery slope. I think once again, I love getting calls right. I think it's a great thing to get calls right. I think I've I hate watching sports where a call's wrong, but I wonder if that's got to start with our teammates and observers before we start going to whoever has their camera on them that day.
Exactly. And if you have thoughts on this, leave a comment on Substack or you can subscribe. We can do a subscriber chat, brand new feature, subscriber chat about replay review and ultimate when the pod drops. So make sure you are subscribed so you can see that. But yeah, like I don't want to come across as some sort of like reactionary ultimate weirdo, but like I don't we're not ready for the big time in this right now. Like we don't have the things in place to handle what playing this out logically to the end entails, in my opinion. But that is
Feel
it
that,
for us right now. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Colt, for joining me.
of course.
And we will see you all on the next pod.